Next up, Niners Seahawks. Earlier in the week on episode 1, I told you I was leaning towards Niners money line and feeling like this is my upset pick of the week. The model showed value there earlier in the week. Has anything changed?
Not too much. It's tightened up a little bit. You lost a half point on the spread. Most books seems pretty consensus at +7 here. So we're 50-50 on that. We had a little bit more of an edge on the +7.5. So again, kind of shows you how important getting a spread outside the key number, like a full touchdown, can be. Total shortened by looks like it's gone actually back up. It was 44.5 earlier. We have 53%, but see, as you see, it's gone up to 45.5. We're back to 50-50 on it. So again, really, they were both available. So, check your books, and sometimes just depending what side you want to be on, that's more important to just get the better line than just take what the model's current prediction says. It's really personal preference, but if you're looking to bet the over and you can get it at 44.5, you just should shop around and make sure you're not overlooking anything like that. And then 49ers money line, right about fair odds. I think that would be +280. You get +290 here, so almost a 1% edge. So if you do like the upset, you are getting a very little bit of value on that. Personally, haven't really changed my feelings much about this game since Tuesday's show. You'd like the +7.5, I think, but we said we love the Niners at that number. You said you would even maybe play them up to 3.5 on a spread. I think you said, Greg, you'd have to pay up to -125 to get them 7.5, and almost even money at +7. So I'd be fine to take it, and just hope that you're not going to get hooked on the wrong side of that. But that's just kind of my general feeling about it. Total wise, no edge on the over at this number. If you get it at 44.5, you'll find a little bit because we had 53.6%. No incentive to really play it if you don't have value, according to the model. And I personally still think this might be one of the lowest, or might be the lowest scoring game of the weekend. As I said the other day, both meetings went well under previously. And I think the familiarity of these teams and, the win or go home elimination style of this is going to make this a lower scoring battle, not unlike the previous game.
Yep. Yeah, I'm on the under. I'm also on Niners +7. If you haven't gotten it yet, at 7.5, I think 7's fine. To your point, I would play it down further than that. I'm not worried about getting a half point here, even though I love a key number. I'd rather get a good price. I think this game is going to be extremely close. I think San Francisco has a great chance to win. So happy the model still sees it at least that way a little bit. Let's go to props next. What are you looking for?
Let's see. There's actually like a bunch of straight up prop value on its own in this game. If you're watching, you see me scrolling through, like there's easily over a dozen props here, probably about 20. Just by my quick count, I can actually just see that here, 19. So I would encourage anyone to just dive into here and look at it. But bunch of angles on CMC, both touchdown value, receiving. Oh, this is an interesting line. This was 53.5 earlier. And his receptions, I believe we had as well, under 6.5. I do kind of like both of those. I know, you're fading a great player in a situation that he's been pretty good in this year, but he did actually go under this in 7 straight games before going over last week versus the Eagles. And he needed a big play to do it. His second longest play of the entire season. Under 6.5 receptions down here. He is under that in 6 straight, including the playoffs. Think you're more likely to see his Kittle's vacated targets filter between Tongas, Juszczyk, and Pearsall if he's healthy. And he said he's optimistic that he'll play. Plus Trent Williams is on track to play. So I think they're just going to use CMC more in the run game, feature him more like that. And your call if you want to fade Christian McCaffrey in that regard, but it is something that the model does favor, and trends wise does kind of point in that regard, which is pretty good. As far as the run game for Seattle, which I have here, Ken Walker 60 yards, Zach Charbonnet 49, but Zach Charbonnet notably 10% higher than Ken Walker to score. They really tore him up in that last game, week 18. I think almost 100 yards for Ken Walker, 70 maybe for Zach Charbonnet. I should have written that down, but I didn't. But that's where I'd be looking, certainly. I kind of like a little reverse correlation. Zach Charbonnet touchdown, but Ken Walker hitting his over, or at least grabbing 60 plus rushing yards. It was all RBs for him in that game. Sam Darnold has kind of cooled off in the second half of the season. Never been this far in the playoffs before, so they might just kind of trust the run game that has turned a corner a bit for them after having some pretty bleak games earlier on. I will say, like, we have value from the model on Ken Walker's the under on his receiving yards. I'm personally not a fan. Our projection is over, but that is, they are based on averages, so the high variance can do that. But we have him for 16, and I think he recorded 20 or 25 in the first quarter against the Niners. They went right to him in that game. Personally, it's just a little spot that I like for him anyway. But overall, it's I don't know. Without knowing exactly if Ricky Pearsall is gonna play, it's just kind of a tough one to bet props wise, I think, for the 49ers side. More value for me on the Seahawks side. But like I said, almost 20 props on here. So I strongly encourage people to dive in and see where the prop value is overall. Don't hate Sam Darnold's under 239.5, projecting 230, 58.7%. Don't hate that at all. Unless it's going to be dump offs and JSN, that's pretty uninspiring pass catching group.
Yeah, it's probably also worth noting Darnold's playoff history here. It was just a year ago, right? In that first round game against Detroit, or whatever I forget if that was even a divisional round game or where it was. It might have even been like the play-in game almost for the Vikings.
Yeah, had to. Like the week 18 game?
Yeah, I think it was the final game of the regular season. They needed a win for, I don't know, seeding or something. Just Darnold.
Top seed.
Darnold was terrible. He was like a total turtle. And he's been an amazing regular season quarterback. I don't trust big game Darnold at all, which is a big part of my scout on why I think there's value on the Niners here. So I think if I were looking props, it's going to be steering away from Seattle's receiving options. Certainly love a Sam Darnold under, possibly look at a Sam Darnold turnover here. Those are things that appeal to me for sure. What about touchdown value?
Touchdown value. Like I mentioned, Christian McCaffrey gets it for 2+. I think it's all on the 49ers last I checked. Brian Robinson Jr. gets one. His role is trending downward in December. He's appropriately plus 1,400. We have him 10.5%. So he's certainly a long shot. Bottomed out with 0 touches in the wild card. Not really something I'd be looking at. It's just a total dart throw. McCaffrey gets value for 2+ once again. He did last week at almost these same odds. It might have been plus 550. He cashed that, of course. And then Purdy over 1.5 here. Pretty solid value, plus 142, 45.6% for 2+ passing touchdowns. I don't really love it. Aside from the Rams game, Seahawks only allowed 1 passing touchdown over their final 6 weeks. So just like totally lock that down. So it, really, again, it's going to be probably CMC that this game funnels through. I think he was minus 125 or minus 130 for a touchdown this week, which is right about fair odds at our anytime PD probability. Is the highest to score. So I think I like a Charbonnet CMC 2-legger if I'm playing one in this game. I just can't get behind Ken Walker. I've just seen Charbonnet vulture him far too many times. He got 10% higher. The model's aware. It's like the vulture data point is in here. It's Charbonnet for the Seahawks for me, McCaffrey for the Niners. That's pretty much all I'm interested in.
Yep, I think that's fair. I've been burned by Kenneth Walker one too many times before. It won't happen again.